Greetings and salutations, LOL esports fans and League of Legends players, and welcome to the next level with Sodaron. I am Sodaron, the wizard of LOL esports, here to bring you another exciting episode. Now, today we're taking a look at G2 vs. T1, which looked like a pretty bad series from G2. Now, was it T1 or did G2 have a bad day, or are T1 slowly progressing throughout Worlds to become a better team? This is something I've been going over all summer long because I've VOD reviewed or broke down, whatever you like to call them. I like to call them breakdowns. A lot of people say VOD review, but I feel like I'm more of a critic if I use the word VOD review instead of saying breakdown, because who am I? Well, I worked with GAM, and GAM did very well here at Worlds this year. Did they not knock out Team Liquid? And yet most people don't want to give me any credit for professionally working with a team. I was an analyst for GAM in 2022 during the summer split where they won the summer finals or the summer championship, and during Worlds where they did take a game away from Top Esports. And they were also in the group of death with DRX. You had Rogue, and you had Top Esports. So GAM had probably the worst group back in 2022, and they did take a game away from Top Esports, which if you go back and watch, they did play pretty well in the first 20 minutes against these teams. It was later on, past like the 30, 40-minute mark, where they start taking team fights that are. VCS is a region that wants to fight for no reason. But anyways, we're not here talking about GAM today. We're talking about G2 versus T1. And if I haven't been around lately because I've been fighting a sickness. I got infection in my leg. I told you I have a circulation problem, or I can get these wounds that develop on my legs. They're not horrible or anything. They're just very painful. And I got an infection in it, and I've had this for like a month now, and I just got on the antibiotics 3 days ago, and I'm finally feeling much better. So I've been wanting to put these VODs out or breakdowns, but I've been struggling the last couple of weeks, even paying attention to all these games. I've been kind of feeling like not being able to pay attention. It took me numerous times to go over this series here just to get the things to go into my brain. And plus, if you're into LOL esports, you're on a team, there's so many games throughout the entire year, you start to burn out this time of the year. And that might be some of the reason with G2 not doing very well the last week, or because a team like T1, and I talk about this throughout the summer, where I'm like, T1 aren't trying. They're trying to prevent burnout. They're giving you about 60-70% of their full power, and now they're starting to ramp up while they're here at Worlds. So this first game we're taking a look at, I have pages of notes, and I'm trying to be professional, right? Not look at them or not show them on my screen. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and get to the game here. There's some key things I wanted to go over, like Faker took Lich Bane in this game with Ari, which I think was effectively to make him a split pusher later on in the game. T1 used the Skarner. It looks like the Skarner is very good because his suppression can keep the enemy jungler from smiting. There was something at the very beginning of the game. I think it was in game number 1, but Yike comes in to gank, and I don't understand why he's taking 2 levels of Q and then the spell block. If he had fear, he would have been able to gank Faker, and this is where Caps flashes in the lane to dodge charm from Faker, and then Yike shows up. And at the same time, G2 also have vision on Owner, where he is on the map. He's not even anywhere near. And Yike comes in, and if he had the E, they would have got some type of gank off on Faker. He just shows up and does nothing. So it looked like a very bad series for Mickey X and Yike, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard the news. I don't think it's came out and said that Yike and Mickey X won't be on the team. It was just they're allowed to check their contract options for next season, but a lot of people are trying to say that they won't be there next year. But it did look like a pretty bad series from Mickey X and Yike, and we'll go over these things. But we'll go ahead and get into the game here. Again, the title card here, we're looking at the Swiss stage round 4, G2 versus T1. This is a game where G2 just get out macroed throughout the entire game. One of the big key things is G2 heavily invests to get the Void Grubs early in the game, and then they do nothing with them. Also, you got the Gragas on T1, which we haven't seen at Worlds yet, but the Gragas, and I don't understand because G2 just keep drafting champions that are bad into Gragas. They had very short-range champions like a Draven. The Gnar is okay. I think it was Gnar in game number 1. But the champions, Nautilus, Nocturne, the champions that G2 had were going to do nothing in a team fight into T1. They had low range. I don't like the Draven. And Draven can't do very much damage to turrets compared to other champions like a Tristana or let's just say a Caitlyn or, there's other ones. Like a Jax can do a lot of damage to a turret. Was it Gnar or Jax that they had? And I don't know. There's so many games that all runs together. But let's go ahead and look into the game. G2 just keep getting out macroed by T1. They go and take the Void Grubs. Well, then T1 take the Dragon and get turret plates. It's like a lot of the Western teams don't understand to get other minion waves that are going to make small advantages later on the game. Because basically what happens is T1 have 2 items. Like if you watch my content, I keep talking about your goal in the game is you're trying to get 2 items at 20 minutes, which is 200 CS, and you should have boots and 2 items by then. You should have 1 item and boots by 15 minutes without any kills. Then you add the kills, and then you quickly get more and more items. So we'll go ahead and get into the game. And I have a bunch of notes here, but I should be able to, I'll just take them all and throw them away. Hopefully that reaches the trash can back there, but it looks like it didn't. I'm going to try something new on this VOD. So hopefully the production turns out better. Let me make sure my sound is way up here. Go ahead and fast forward to the actual draft here. So we'll go ahead and get into the draft. You got this video a little bit where I was talking and I forgot to hit my scene to show you my desktop. I was talking the whole time, so I'll go ahead and go into this again real quick, and wherever I edit it or whatever I do, I may put it in the beginning or the second part. So the way I look at the drafts and stuff here, again, and it's probably not that big of a deal, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got a Yone ban, we've got an Aurora ban, we've got a Brand ban. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So we got 2 support bans from G2 in the start. We got a Callista ban, which you can't let Callista and Renata Glass go through. It's probably the best bottom lane duo. We have seen Yike play some Brand into Maokai, which some people were saying that Brand's the strongest jungler on the current patch or the last patch. They keep patching it so soon. So we got an Aurora. You can't let her through. If I was G2, I'd be playing Rumble in this game. And we got a Yone ban, which you can't, like, Yone seems like the strongest mid lane pick right now. So we got Ahri. We got Skarner. Now, I don't know why G2 aren't playing the Skarner here. I don't know why the Nocturne. I think the Skarner is stronger. It seems like some teams like throw out a pick like Nocturne at Worlds, like a G2, or I mean like a Gen G and a T1, and then it's like a G2 and the Western team will catch on to it and be like, oh, we have to play that now. When there's like Diego you could play Lee Sin here. You know, there's stronger ones. I don't know why the Nocturne, unless pro teams are thinking the Paranoia is too good, and then they came out with the experimental Hex Tech plate item, and maybe that's what some of it is. So we got Nocturne, we've got Orianna here, which Orianna is not good into the Ahri. The stats say. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's a counter. Let me look real quick. I'll have to go back to a longer patch here. Let's see. Ahri into Orianna. I bet we won't even. Ahri wins against Orianna one time. So I don't know what. If I could find a longer patch. 50% of the time. So maybe it's like an even skill matchup. So we got Jax. And to me, G2 are going for a winning top lane matchup, so they can get the Void Grubs. Trying to take that away from T1, but then T1 turn around and show in this game that you don't need to have the Void Grubs to win the game. So it doesn't really matter either way. So we got 2, 3, 4, but I kind of messed this up at the beginning of the video, and I don't want to go back and redo all of it, so I don't have time to sit and redo the whole game again. So, and I'm trying to learn to do a little bit of video editing, so maybe this will turn out better than I think. I mean, who knows? So we got the Gragas. The Gragas is something new, and G2 mess up to me in this game because they don't use Executioner's Calling or Mortal Reminder, they don't use Bramble Vest, they don't use Morellonomicon. So we got a Xayah. I don't know why the Xayah pick. I don't think we've seen Xayah at Worlds. Maybe like one game that I can't remember from the play-ins team. I don't think she's magically. Maybe Guma's played a game of Xayah. I'd have to look. I don't know why the Tahm Kench. I've not seen any Tahm Kench here. I mean, they're banning out the bottom lane duo. I would probably ban out Owner if it was me. Like Skarner or May. Well, we haven't really seen any Maokai either. It's turned into like Skarner, Nocturne. I saw Brand be played by Tarzan, and it won a game, and I think it was into a Maokai. So we got Jen. I think teams for Jen was the one you wanted to ban if you were T1, because I think like the top teams at Worlds every year, it's like they pull Jen out of the meta and people forget what he does. He can root, he has very long range, disengage with the ultimate. I don't like the Draven pick personally from G2, especially into the Gragas and the Ahri and the Jen, because it's got very close, small attack range. So I don't think it's going to do very well for G2 here. We got a Nautilus that, again, he kind of has small range, I guess. I mean, his Q has pretty good distance, so maybe I'm wrong on that one. But as a whole, for team fighting, G2 don't have much range or poke or anything, and the Gragas will disrupt this. So then the last pick is we get Leona to round out the T1 comp to have some hard engage or disengage, and seems to work out well for T1. You guys can watch that type of stuff at home. And let me get out my handy epic pen here, and like I like to say, I look at the draft a certain way, where I look at the priorities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, one of the key things I see right here from, well, those are okay, but I later see number 4 and 5. It's like, well, what are G2 banning here? Like, they ban a Tahm Kench. There's a bunch of support bans in this draft.
T1 have done. They've stayed true
the Aurora, the Yone, the Brand makes sense. You know, we saw Tarzan successfully play Brand at Mayokai and did really well, but we've only seen like one game of Brand at Worlds, so. But it could be something that Yike could play. I could see T1 looking at. Now, at least the Nocturne can block Ari's charm right with his W. But one of my things is I don't see Western players. Yike is guilty of this, but they don't take full advantage of the paranoia. You use the paranoia like I see out of Tarzan and Canyon is when you're going to steal an objective or you're fighting at an objective, you wait until the dragon or the baron's almost dead in smiteable range, and then you cast the paranoia and you smite steal it because the other team can't see, and then you still have time to proc the spell and jump on somebody. And I don't understand why they're prioritizing the Nocturne. I think Skarner's the #1 priority jungle champion. I just got him unlocked on my account and I've been playing him. He's super strong. The suppressions, again, the suppression can block a smite on a jungler. If you're new here, I have a way I look at the drafts. I look because you get double groupings of champions. Okay, it was Jax in this game, not Gnar. I'm sorry. Which is like, okay, G2 are heavily investing into the Void Grubs because, as they talk about the lane swaps being comfortable for your bottom lane matchups, but on the broadcast. But I kind of tend to think that no, it's to get the Void Grubs. And if you know what you're doing with a team and you have heavy AD, or basically the Void Grubs help you take down turrets. Now, Western teams are guilty that they don't even take advantage of the Void Grubs. They don't know how to macro and understand that turrets are slowly winning you the game. You're inching closer and closer to the enemy base, and you're opening up enemy territory and making it yours. And then you get a bunch of gold at the same time. We get a Gragas, which I'm guessing is a counter into the Jax. We get Orianna, which I guess must be a counter to Ari or safe in lane. We got a Rel ban from T1. We've got a Xayah ban from G2. I don't understand why they picked the Zyra and the Tahm Kench. I don't recall even seeing a game of Xayah, maybe like one game or 2 games of Xayah, but I can't even recall seeing Xayah at Worlds. So the Gragas is something new we've seen, and I'm guessing it must be some type of counter into Jax, and it worked out very well for T1 in this game. Tahm Kench, I don't understand. So you got 1, 2, you got 2 AD bans, and you got 3 support bans. I don't think Carry is the guy to be banning out. I would say Owner's the guy to be banning out. You can't really ban out Faker. I don't understand why they don't ban the Jhin. That was something else I forgot to talk about. Is it's like G2 completely forget about the blooms that Jhin have, and the blooms do a lot of work in this game. Like I remember Guma putting it at a jungle entrance once, and somebody on G2 got caught out trying. I think it was Mickey X got caught out trying to go into the enemy jungle to get vision put down, and it just starts a whole play because he's slowed. It gives vision on him, and then like I think Faker comes in and bursts him down, and he gets caught out and he dies. So I don't really see the Draven doing much in this game to this comp. Like Gragas, he's really tanky. The Ari can easily get away from Draven because he has low range. You need long range for the team comp that T1's building right here, because Jhin has long range. Not so much with his auto attacks, but his root poke that he has. His blooms slow you. I think Jin's very OP'd his kit. People forget about it, and then teams like T1 play Jhin at Worlds and win Worlds. So then we get a Leona. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the matchups here like I do. So we got what, Jax and the Gragas, just so we can see what the lane matchups are. And I go by the Korean server here because I think it's the pinnacle of the cream of the crop. I don't know if we'll find Gragas. So Jax wins against Gragas 66% of the time. So T1 have a losing, or G2 have a winning top lane matchup with the Jax and the Gragas. We got Nocturne and the Skarner. We may not find any information on this. Nocturne wins against Skarner 100% of the time. So these stats, it doesn't look like that T1 are playing counters when you watch this game. But they also don't take too many team fights or skirmishes. Sorry, my voice is getting dry. Like I said, I've been under the weather, so I may not be at my best on this VOD, but hey, at least I'm here. Give me some credit. I also forgot to go over, if you like my content here, please, I need more followers, so follow me on twitch.tv/Sodaron. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Sodaron. And follow me on X at x.com/Sodaron official. I couldn't get Sodaron for some reason. I should be able to. The name's not taken, but it won't let me have it. So what can I do? So what we were looking at, Nocturne into Skarner. This says that Nocturne's good into Skarner. So G2 have a winning top lane matchup. They got a winning jungle matchup. We got Orianna and Ahri. Might not find these stats. Might have to do some digging for this. So Orianna wins against the Ahri 40% of the time. But that's based on 5 games. So G2 have a losing mid lane matchup. But hey, you got Caps, right? A lot of you say he's the best player in the world if you're on the West, so hey, shouldn't matter. So then we got Draven and Jhin, which I would think Draven's not good into Jhin. Draven wins against Jhin 0% of the time. I guess we'll go back and look. A lot of these patches were small, or were very short duration, 50%. I would think that Draven's not that great into Jhin. He could just get kited all day long. So then we've got Nautilus and a Leona. So Nautilus and a Leona. Nautilus wins against Leona 40% of the time. So a lot of losing lane matchups. Well, not really. So what did I say here?
You see how much dive there is from G2.
Wait for this to switch over. Okay. So we got a winning lane matchup in the top side, winning lane matchup in the jungle, losing lane matchup, losing lane matchup, and losing lane matchup. So already it looks like G2 were outdrafted just based on this is supposed to say L. And I may go a lot quicker in this VOD than I normally do. But already it looks like you got 3 versus 2 and the got 3 here and 2 winning over here. So it looks like G2 got outdrafted, which doesn't surprise me. You got Coma and Tom versus Dylan Falco, and I like Dylan, but I think he's very overrated, if you want my opinion. I didn't see anything dramatically crazy from G2, some crazy pocket pick thing. The Draven's not going to be much of a pocket pick, and he's going to get out-kited all day. Like, just the range, the Gragas disrupts you. So if you're grouped up and you're close to T1, bam, they cask and they're out of range. It's like they're thinking the Nocturne's going to carry super hard. And you got the Shockwave to pull them in together, and then you can Nautilus ult them, but the Draven, I think, I don't really like Draven to begin with. I just think he has very low range and he gets out-kited at the highest level. Now Chovy can get away with playing Draven, and Guma can get away with playing Draven, but they're the top players in the world at their roles. So I think Guma's very underrated. He has very high mechanical skill. He may not make the best decisions. Okay. So this was a very quick game from T1. This is how long that I want to see games go. About 20 or 30 minutes, to be honest. So we've got is some type of ward here at the Raptor Pit already. I guess that was owner's ward. I remember there's two. There's some funny things that go on between Yike and Mickey X, these two games. Now, I don't know if they were nervous. I don't know if they knew their jobs were on the line. We've got the first thing that happens in this game was Faker normally comes over here about a minute 30 seconds, minute 45 seconds, and puts a ward. So in this game, we've got, I think, Broken Blade comes down here, and G2 have pre-planned for him to come down here, Faker that is, put a ward down here. So this is like a preset thing that G2 already worked out, that they're like, well, we're going to make a play and take him down and kill him or try to prevent this from him. You've got Guma standing at the jungle entrance here. You got Carrier standing at the other jungle entrance. Notice how T1 block all the entrances. You got, why can't I think of his name? Zeus blocking the top side jungle entrance. And then you got Owner blocking the top side lower jungle entrance. And then Carrier blocking the top side bottom entrance. And then you got Guma blocking the bottom side bottom entrance. So you can prevent the enemy team from coming up and putting wards in your own jungle. That's what playbook, what they're trying to do. So that's Owner's ward there. Because I thought someone else puts a ward in near the Raptor Pit as well. So here we got all the G2, and they're not getting any information on T1 just standing here. And then I think I recall Mickey X standing here. Maybe it was in game number 2 and he gets punished. I have been very critical of Mickey X and Yike all summer long, saying they don't work together to get vision on the enemy jungle. Mid game, late game, throughout the whole game, Mickey X looks like he wants to go on his own. Here we go again. You shouldn't be standing alone. Maybe if you're the mid laner because you've got the turret. But you should not be standing alone anywhere on the map at this point. You know, at least like Guma standing there had Carrier standing here by him. But like where Han Sama is, he's blocked off by walls. So Mickey X is going to get punished. Misses his Q on the wall. Looks like he likes to take advantage of that with Nautilus. Like he really relies on the Q hook into terrain for some reason. So G2 already mess up, and then it looks like that forced because let's see, Nocturne warded there, but we want Nocturne to ward over here. I don't know why Yike didn't get a ward there. Let's go back and look on the T1 side of the map. I thought that Yike even went there. Oh, see, okay, because of standing here, they lost vision that they could get over here. So they lost a lot of valuable vision. And T1 just outplayed G2, and they did the entire series. Off, and I don't like having Discord on when I'm doing this. I don't really use Discord anyways. The only time I was using it was for Project 99 for my EverQuest guild. So Yike doesn't get any vision in the enemy jungle. You even have Owner roaming down here. So you got a 4 versus 1. Caps is not going to be able to do anything. He just had to throw some. He probably took a skill that he didn't want to take there either. But throw some auto attacks in. And Mickey even lost his. That ward's not going to do any justice really right there. And you got the zombie ward that I talk about over and over all summer long that I'm big on. So Faker's running zombie ward. But at least Yike. Up. Alright, so we got Yike putting a ward up here at the jungle entrance, at least for G2. So get some type of information if owner comes in here and starts jungling or taking away the camps on the top side. From what I remember, there was, again, like T1 show you how to out macro in this game because G2 have the winning top lane matchup right now. So as I said before, that if you want to get the Void Grubs, especially if you're on blue side, you got to have the winning top lane matchup. But in this game, Jax, I think, is winning early, but what happens is T1 lane swap their bottom lane up in the top lane around 5 minutes to be there for the Void Grubs, so then they have lane pressure again. So we got a ward here from G2 in the river by I didn't see whose ward that was, but I'm not going to go back and look. This is where I think here in a few minutes Caps is going to waste his flash because he thinks that he's going to get charmed by Ahri, and then Ahri loses. Now Caps, the way owner ganks, he ganks mid lane a lot, and then he just scares you. So right here, and so unfortunately T1 or G2 had the ward that I was talking about on the wrong side, right? Like they needed it on this side of the river. So, and it seems like Skarner starts on the blue side. He starts with the wolves, but we got a gank. It didn't really work out very well for owner right here. They didn't get the flash out of Caps, but owner is good where he'll keep coming and ganking mid again. And it's like, I'm sure if you're Caps, you become scared to death after a little while because you're already lading into the Faker, and then you got to worry about getting ganked multiple times. So not much going on right now. You got, looks like Guma's got a lead though in the bottom lane because he got a kill already on Mickey X in the beginning. So I'm sure that Guma will go and back soon. It may have been around the 5-minute mark they backed, but he could back and get a, well, I didn't see how much gold he had to get his first basic item. So G2, they already look like they're going for Void Grubs because also they got the winning top lane matchup, and then they got the Scuttle Crab. And unfortunately, Caps is pushed up into the lane here. So, and I think Faker manipulates the waves and does that on purpose because he's got the mana. So he knew to back off. He knew that Nocturne would probably be in mid lane sometime. So Caps is really getting toyed with here. Because if you're a really good laner, sometimes you'll back off. You don't have to constantly be pushing the wave. And so this is maybe it was in the second game, but Yike, for some reason, I would think you take the fear on Nocturne the E as the third skill, which you get to see the synergy that Skarner and Ahri have right here. Well, he does have the fear there. In the second game, he doesn't, and I think that maybe he messed up. And he knew he really messed up because he just shows up in mid lane and he could easily gank Faker and he loses. Or he doesn't do anything. He just like, and hits him with a Q, which doesn't really do anything. So I was wanting to see what's going on in the bottom lane. I think Mickey X, if I remember, right now it looks like he's toe-to-toe with Leona. So he's got vision on Leona. But I'm pretty sure he misses a hook here on Leona when they're in lane, but Draven still gets a kill. Like, he misses the hook right here, going for Guma. Like, he just barely misses. Would have been a lot different if he landed that hook. He just barely misses it. It looked like it was right beside Guma. So he's got to get punished now because the hook didn't do anything. He can't hook out of the terrain. And he gets EQ'd, comboed from Leona. But the Draven, I don't know what T1 are thinking there. They do have Skarner around, so that might be some of the reason. But Skarner could have probably backed off the Gromp and came down and helped. But the Draven, you know, has very high early game damage with the Qs. He got 3 long swords now on Yike. Again, I guess they're going for Void Grubs. Here we go. We got Gragas already coming into the bottom lane swapping. Again, the macro is just great. And the lane rotations on T1, it's like clockwork. And as I state in my content over and over, that you never want to let minion waves go to waste, which G2 did a lot in this game. And you just slowly lose the game when a team like T1, like clockwork, just keep rotating their members around so that when the waves crash in the lane, they're there to pick them up. They don't let any waves go to waste. And that's how you get the 100 CS at 10 minutes. You get the 200 CS at 20 minutes, 300 CS at 30 minutes. And then players start to fall off after that, after like the 30 or 40 minute mark. Except for you'll see an AD have like 500 CS at 40 minutes. And poor Carrier, he's like, I died, I shouldn't have died there, even though we're going to win this game. So here you got the Broken Blade, and this is where like G2 should probably lane swap and swap Draven up to top lane and let Jax know. But see, the problem is I wasn't paying attention, I was talking, but Broken Blade at the 4-minute 40 mark already teleported to the top lane, so T1 know to take advantage of this. So Gragas is going to come back and go to the bottom lane. Broken Blade already used his teleport, so he's stuck in the top lane now. And this forces a mismatch up for G2 and will allow T1 to get ahead, and then they'll get the Void Grubs. I should get the Void Grubs. Well, I think that G2 somehow get the Void Grubs on this. Maybe in time they lane swap. But again, you're slowly losing minion waves because you're in a bad matchup. Because I remember G2 heavily invested the Void Grubs in both games, which even the casters on the broadcast were saying, oh, well, LCK teams go for they go straight to Void Grubs at 6 minutes, which is true. Because I think the top teams all summer long have been prioritizing the Void Grubs over the Dragons. But you don't want to give the Dragons away. It's if you get the Void Grubs, you want to take advantage and push down turrets. The Void Grubs don't do you any good if you're not getting turrets down. So we get a solo kill here from Zeus. We just got some top tier Korean micro right here. And Broken Blade probably won't be able to do too much, even though he does have his ult advantage right now. But Guma's already got a pickaxe at 55 minutes and a longsword. So very good kiting from Zeus right here. So we got Owner coming in here for a gank in the top lane. So Mickey gets the last hit on that cannon minion. So they're going to go straight to Void Grubs. But see, I don't see T1 like move their bottom laner or top laner off the Void Grubs. You got Draven missing some CS right now to get up into the top lane, and you notice Gragas didn't miss any waves, and now he's getting turret plates. And I think he's going to go back and rotate back to the top lane again, and then Broken Blade is going to have to go back and recall and come back up here again, just slowly losing out minion waves and XP. So now you got the Gragas coming back, and you got Leona coming back up to the top lane. So Jin's going to go solo Broken Blade. And T1 also got the Dragon. So G2 got the Void Grubs, but T1 are going to get Dragon. They got some turret plates. You got a 500 gold lead now on Gragas. You got a kill. So that was really worth. Really, T1 got more out of this than G2 did, and now you've only got like a 200 gold lead, but that's a big deal at 7 minutes. I don't really pay much attention to the jungler gold, right? Like 144 gold on the junglers is not going to make a big difference. 32 gold lead on Caps. He's got his Mercury treads already. I remember them beginning of the game saying this is the most Mercury tread game there is, that you need Mercury treads times 12 into the T1 comp. But one thing that I see too in this game that G2 forget about is these Jin blooms. You know, they're like the Teemo mushrooms, and G2 get caught out on these all game long. And it even, I think, started a team fight as well, or at least a solo kill. So Guma puts these down, so it's hard to come in and gank him. So you even got Zeus ahead of Hansama right now. So you got the Dragon in 4 minutes. I don't know why that interface is still showing. There we go. Caps getting a ward at the Raptor Pit. That's good. Getting some enemy jungler information. There you finally got Nautilus and Nocturne or Mickey X and Yike working together. Oh, nope. He's leaving Yike. I think that he at least needs to get a ward over here on this side. Like, I remember, I think Mickey X goes up the river, but he's putting wards on the G2 side of the map. And as I say over and over and over, the way I look at the map is there's this imaginary line that splits the map in half like that. And this is red side. And this is blue side of the map. And it goes like this. And anytime you're blue side and you step over this map, you're on the enemy side of the map. And you need to have flash, vision, or a teammate around you, or you have to assume you're going to die unless you see all the enemies on your mini-map and know where they are. But again, I don't want to spend like an hour. I'm bad about spending 2 hours on these games. And I don't want to do that. You know, I'd like to spend about 30 minutes on it, 45 minutes, and move on. We got 2 games on this. So we got Carrier straight up countering the Vision now. He'll probably go in. Somebody will clear out that Vision from the control ward that we just saw. And Zeus has to back because he's out of mana now. He's got a Codex Fiend. He's pretty much even in gold with Zeus, right? No, Zeus gets the CDR boots. Looked like in game 1, Faker missed a good bit of charms, but by the second game, I think he was landing more charms. Or as Dagda would say, charms, Nar. I don't have an Irish accent. So we got a Vision war going on right now. Got the Dragon in 2 minutes and 30. I don't know why this interface keeps showing up. That annoys me. I guess it's not a good reason to watch this on LOL Esports. I was trying to get some credit and rewards. You know, you can watch the games on there. If you watch them live, I've got 2 esports capsules the other day when I was logged in live. So some reason to watch it there. My mouse keeps like moving just like a tiny bit. But I don't like that interface. Or whatever it's called. Overlay. That's the word I was looking for. So we'll get a fight here at the Void Grubs, and Yikes got his Nocturne ultimate now, and that's like if you're Nocturne, you're trying to power farm to level 6 as soon as you can. He's got a Tunneler. Skarner's got the Giant's Belt on the regen item. Is it Crystalline something? But here we go. This is where I talk about that the Western teams are bad and players that they get trigger happy on the Nocturne ult and they can't wait to use it. And you can literally wait till the objective is almost dead within smite range, and you use the Nocturne ult, and then the enemy jungler can't see to do anything, and then you smite it. You can steal it, or you can, and also I think some of the fears, they think that the cooldown will go away on the ultimate when you cast it, but you've got like 5-6 seconds, maybe a little bit longer until the ultimate wears off. So you hold on to it until it's almost about to wear off, and then you use the last part where you dive onto somebody. But I like Yike, I just see him prematurely using the Nocturne ultimate. There I think he got Faker with the ultimate, or is it Carrier? Carrier is not the guy you want to be getting. So Carrier gets hooked, and he uses the ultimate, but he needed to be getting Faker. Like, he was right beside Faker. I don't know why. So I see him get the wrong targets. He got Faker there. Now Faker and Guma are going to turn around and kill Yike. So I think G2 think they have an advantage in this game, in this team fight, to be able to kill T1. And you also have Faker that's back here that they don't have. G2 don't have vision back here. I wanted to take a look at this on the Rift kit. Maybe I put too much vision on here, but as you can see, like, G2 cannot see where Faker is. They can't see where Jen is. Gragas and Jax are in the bottom lane. But look at all this vision from T1. This is T1's ward. This is T1's ward. Maybe I should have just put all of T1's vision on there. But they got one. There's a lot more vision. And I think like G2 ran out of wards at this point, because they don't even have any vision wards on the map. Mickey X has one, but there's one, two. There's two vision wards. There's no vision wards from G2 right here. So I was just wanting to take a look at the... But in this fight, they can't see where Faker is. They can't see where Guma is either. They can see Carrier and Skarner, obviously. So they don't know that Faker's... G2 should have had some vision up in here before taking any of these fights.
Kona stepping forward, eats an axe. Caps and Mickey standing around the side. Caps low mana, they go into Carrier, Paranoia. There's the shockwave as well.
Oh, I forgot to delete this off the screen. Alright, so fight again.
Caps and Mickey standing around the side. Caps low mana, they go into Carrier, Paranoia. There's the shockwave as well. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Broken Blade's going to look to try and keep Zeus around. One already over his Yike.
So they don't see the Ahri back here, and then Yike gets just owned by Guma and Faker, and G2's going to lose two of these Void Grubs down. So basically, I think the game's over at this point, because they invested to get all 6 Void Grubs, and now they lost 2 of them to T1, or at least one of them's going to despawn, and T1 got at least one of them, but now they're going to lose the next dragon as well. I highly doubt that G2 is going to get down at the dragon and be able to take it away from T1. And also, Skarner's got his Heart Steel, is it called? Now Yike got his experimental Hextech weapon or whatever it's called. It's a new item. It's a pretty good item. I think that's some of the reason we see Nocturne come back into the meta already. But G2 needed more vision. They couldn't see. They like to play in the dark for some reason. But they couldn't see Ahri. They couldn't see Guma. And they assumed that they could win the team fight, I guess, with the paranoia from Nocturne. But T1 know how to play into the paranoia. And also, Skarner can probably suppress the Nocturne so he can't paranoia. So I think the Nocturne isn't as good as a pick as the Skarner is right now. So G2's diving and they're taking a turret down at the same time. T1 already got a bottom turret, and now Faker's pushing this wave in the bottom lane. You know, G2 should have somebody here picking up a wave. They should have somebody down the bottom lane picking up the wave. That's probably where I'm sure somebody will be here in the mid lane from T1 picking up this wave soon. We got the Jhin ultimate that can disengage under turrets. Like, you cannot dive a Jhin with ultimate, or at least having second rank Jhin ultimate, but you see how that worked there. Like, and Jin's also got his static shiv by now. Zeus gets his cosmic drive. And Nautilus isn't really going to do much and pick up waves. Look at all this gold that's just going to a waste. It needs to be Jax down here. Now at this point too, I don't know why Hansama is here. This should be Caps that's down here picking up this wave. And Hansama needs to be in the mid lane by now. I talk about this over and over in my content. But if you're an AD champion, G2 are just slowly losing gold and waves right now. But if you're an AD champion, you say, I win every game, or I win my lane every game, and I don't understand why I lose because my teammates are bad. It's because at this point in the game, when a turret's down, you need to be in the mid lane. That's where Jhin is. I don't know why Hansama's doing this solo push thing. I think that they think, oh, well, he can solo kill somebody, but he won't be able to against T1. There's no way that he's going to solo kill this Gragas, and there's no way that they're going to dive this Gragas. So then T1 just lost the Rift Herald, which is going to give T1 more of a gold advantage because they're going to use it, unlike a lot of the Western teams that get the Rift Herald and they don't get turret plates or any turret damage. I'm sure that T1 will use it to their advantage too. And also Skarner took advantage of the recall as well to get back into lane. He used it almost like a teleport to recall quickly and get back to lane. But see, there was no diving from... so G2 force a fight right here. It backfires on them. And I could probably go into further analysis on this, but I don't, there's so many games at Worlds, I don't want to spend forever on them, and I know most people don't even have the attention span to watch a 2-hour-long VOD on a game, so I'm just kind of watching and giving a breakdown, but maybe you could call it a review, but I call them breakdowns. It sounds like a better term to me. So T1's going to get another turret here. The plan for G2 just backfired, and now it's like G2 are angry, and Caps decide this is not a good place for Caps to teleport. I don't know if it was to make a play or to save his teammates. Now he should be in the bottom lane, though. It shouldn't be Hansama in the bottom lane. I guess Hansama's going back to cash in. He's got the Bloodthirster, the BF sword, 2 long swords. So Mickey X gets spotted out on a ward there. And again, they didn't know where Faker was. They didn't know Jhin was right there. They didn't know Skarner was on his way. So G2 thought they were going to outsmart T1 here, and I guess dive the Gragas. That they thought the Draven had such a big lead right here, but he didn't.
defense, and look at Zeus. He's so smart. He goes for the knockback plus killing the minions.
Listening to what the analysts have to say in this game. So who was it got suppressed? I'm guessing the Jax gets suppressed. Yeah, he gets suppressed, so he's not going to 1 versus 3 like he thinks he is and counter strikes into T1. I'm not trying to be biased because I've tried to be a fan of G2 all summer long, but I'm also a fan of T1. I don't have a loyalty to any team. I don't really like if Yike's going to get kicked off the team. I don't really see what upgrade there would be unless you get Korean jungler, like a Korean support and Korean jungler. Now, I hope that's true if they do get rid of Yike and Mickey X. So Yike just got spotted out on a control ward here. So T1 know where the jungler is. I don't know what Broken Blade is doing. Solo in the blue buff and Gromp apparently. That should go to Yike. Broken Blade should be up here catching this wave, so there's going to be a wave here. Okay, he is going up there. So got the dragon in 25 seconds. Broken Blade does have teleport. Now here's where Faker comes in behind them, and they have no clue. Like Faker just teleported here, and he's going to come in and flank behind G2. They get 2-man Skarner ulted there. It was great. Broken Blade's teleporting in here. This isn't the guy to go for, by the way. This is what's smart is, now, Owner had to use his flash for the Skarner play here, but the guy that they want to protect, and this is what he's doing, this is why he's staying behind back here. Faker is the guy you want to get because his flash is down, and if you're a top team, just like Orianna's the guy to get right now on G2 because Hansama has cleanse, he has flash, and you don't want to. It looks like they're going to go for Guma, and Jax is going to go all in on him, but he has barrier and flash, so he's going to safely get over this wall and have barrier to live. Faker's the one you want to catch out because he doesn't have flash right now, so if he gets caught out, he's going to die. So, but T1 have much better macro, and Faker's going to teleport behind the dragon pit and stay out of harm and then come in and clean up. And Faker's the guy you want to be going on if you're G2, as he gets a nice charm on Draven there. And T1 win this fight, and now there's like a 3k gold lead. And they also lose Dragon. And I talk about on my stream all the time that you get 4 dragons and you get the Baron, you close the game out in 25 minutes. You also have the goal where you're trying to get 100 CS at 10 minutes. You're trying to get 200 CS at 20 minutes. You get boots in 1 item, 150 CS at 15 minutes. And the reason why is that at 20 minutes, if you have 2 items and boots, you can easily take the Baron, which T1 basically get in this game. And actually, they're over the 2 items. They're like at 2.5 items, at like 23 minutes into the game. So this game's pretty much over here, especially if you're playing against T1. Now, in the next game, G2 do kind of come back because T1 force a fight that they shouldn't have taken, and it backfires on them because of the team comp they have. But like I said in the beginning of this, G2 have really low range in this game, and the Gragas disrupts them with the cask, so they can't even get into attack or do any damage on T1. Or T1 kind of have long range because they got the poke from Zeus, they got a poke from Skarner, you got a poke from Ahri with her Q, you got poke from Guma UC, and then you have some type of tank that can engage with Leona or disengage. Got a lot of engage or disengage on T1, where it's like the main source for G2 is they're relying on the Nocturne ultimate. I mean, you got engage on the Nautilus. You got engage on the Shockwave. Jax really isn't. I think he's like an engage. You can Q and E And another thing I don't like, and Zayas shows us in the next game, and I've been critical about it, because WBG do this where they lost a game where they should have taken a Zonya's Hourglass second on Jax, and they don't. And Zayas does that build in the next game, and I really like the Zonya's Hourglass second on Jax because you got some type of engage or disengage that he needs. You can counter, or you can, is it counter strike? Counter strike into a team and then E, or is the E counter strike? Anyways, you can hop into a team, E, evade the damage, stun, and then Zonya's Hourglass, and then it allows your team time to come up and engage and do damage, and then you live and you win the team fight. So T1 already, they've got their items to do Baron. Got the 2 items on Gragas, you got the 2 items on Skarner, you got the 2.5 items on Faker, you got 2.5 items on Jhin, and the only one behind is Keria, who he should have his second item soon. Nautilus has his lockets, his 2 items. Draven has his 2 items. He's got a passive that helps give him gold. Jax is behind. Nautilus is behind. And Caps, of all people, is behind as well. You got a 3k gold lead almost of Faker on Caps, where it's not all from kills, guys. He's been pushing out the waves, you see. Like, he's pushing the waves out on the enemy side of the map. He's doing it right there. He's been pushing out the wave in the bottom and got turrets. They're not letting, you know, like, where is somebody in this wave for G2? And Faker's got teleport, so he can come in here and clean up. I think this is a fight that they messed up. No. It's the next game. So G2 force where they're like, well, we got a 4 versus 5 situation here. We have to go all in on it. And I forget what I was talking about Faker in the top lane, so I'll go back and rewatch. I think Nautilus or somebody gets stuck on a Jhin Bloom. Or actually, I think it was T1 that engaged this. No, I have to see, rewatch. I was talking about Faker. No, so I don't know why they're going in on, again, Guma has, oh, his flash was just barely down. So they are trying to take advantage of the flash being down, but he does have barrier and he's close to the enemy, or he's close to his turret. But that was a good play there because he did have the flash and G2 knew that. So that shows me that G2 do know the summoner spell timings and they're tracking them. I've heard that Caps tracks that in the games. So it didn't really do much though. They lost Guma UC. It did get the teleport out of Faker as well. So at the same time they lost Cleanse on Hansama. They lost teleport on Broken Blade. And they should be going for Baron then if possible. Won't be having any more of that action. Pops the Scryers. G2 trying to set up on this top side now. You can see Zayas pushing out. So T1 can do Baron. I'm not confident that G2 can do Baron right now because they don't have the 2 items on Jax. They don't have the 2 items on Nocturne. They don't have the 2 items on Orianna right here. But any chance that whenever Guma's back and functioning, I'm sure they'll go for Baron. Again, here's a wave now. Like one of the G2 members need to be picking up this wave. Caps is down here picking up this wave. He does have teleport. I don't know what Jax is doing in the mid lane. He should be up here. This wave needs to go to Draven. Unless it's some conscious decision that G2's making and they're like, alright, well, Hansama's 1k gold ahead, so you need this wave, Broken Blade, but he should be in the top lane. He did use his teleport though, so there again, they got out-rotated and the play in the mid lane really did nothing for him. I just saw the Leona ult go off. So Did that backfire? I gotta rewatch this. Did that backfire on, I think that was G2 I saw engage. Okay, so Caps gets caught out on the Gen Bloom, so it's time that T1 know to go in. So they use the Gen Bloom as a team fight engage. So Faker died. I mean, he did get Nocturne ulted. I remember there's a fight where G2 or T1 later in this game are actually like fighting with the fear from Nocturne and still making plays. I think it's like the end of this game or the end of next game. So Faker's nearsighted and he can't do anything there. Still got a kill. I guess that was the shockwave from Orianna that they got caught in. I wasn't paying attention to what boots Ari has. I don't even think she has Mercury treads. And she's got CDR boots. So there's no tenacity really on T1 either for the shockwave. So, which they're, some would say is greedy out of T1, but maybe if he had tenacity or he had Mercury treads, he would have survived that fight. But the way T1 are playing, they don't need it. So I guess he needs the higher cooldown for more charms. Or as Dagda would say, charms. So G2 lose the Dragon here, and I think they're going to lose the Baron now if they lose any more teammates. Yes, so Caps gets knocked back by the Gragas. Yike gets rooted. A lot of people forget Jhin have root and slow on his W and his E's with the Bloom. Looks like they're going to give Guma this blue buff. I think Zeus needs it more. So T1 should easily get this Baron. I mean, if Yike was up, he could stop this with the Paranoia. I don't even think, yeah, they do. I was going to say, I don't even think I remember T1 backing. They won this game in 28 minutes. So there's nothing that G2 can really do here. Mickey just got charmed. I think he was caught out on a Jhin Bloom. So there's a lot of synergy between the Skarner and the Ahri and the Jhin and Ahri because they get rooted or they get Jhin Bloomed and then Ahri just lands a charm. I can see why Faker needs the CDR boots versus the Mercury treads. But it looks like every time they land somebody on the Jhin Bloom and they're trying to run away, Faker gets you with an Ahri charm. Or as Dagda would say, charm, just like he says, nar. So this game looks like it's almost over. I think T1 are faking to back here, and they hang out in this area, the jungle, and G2 come out here and try to ward and make a mistake, and they die. So, and they probably know that Mickey and Yike, see, Yike is going a different way. They should be working like this as a tandem, as I say, a duo tandem, and they don't. I think they're all being Faker. They're faking that they go back, and then they're not. Faker's got teleport. Zeus has teleport. For some reason, that must be the next game where I thought they just straight up kill him in the jungle and then they close the game out. And a lot of it, if you want to win the games, you have to keep up pressure and not back off. And that's why the Korean teams, they win in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You can't just let if you get a big lead, you can't give footing for the enemy team to come back like an Elder Dragon and turn it back into a coin flip situation. So I wanted to see what the engage was here. Who is that teleporting? I'm guessing that's Zeus teleporting. And then Ahri's teleporting in. So I guess that's just bait to end this game out.
Vision, a TP coming in. Zeus will be the one on the front line. Faker will be the one on the back, but Zeus immediately locked up. You can see how much damage he can tank. Faker going in with the...
He's very tanky, and his W, of course, heals him. There's no anti-healing items on G2, which I think they need for the Gragas. Obviously, it's like they weren't prepared for the Gragas. A lot of times teams, like at Worlds, will pick a champion that the other teams aren't used to scrimming in it. Just they like throw a wrench into it, and then the other team doesn't know what to do. But I was wrong about Faker. He keeps, at the beginning of the game, he didn't land charms, but he keeps just constantly landing charms on people. Hansama gets charmed. His cleanse was down. So this game looks like it's over. And I guess Carry is just going to even put a control ward out there because why not? So there's game 1 in the books. I don't think Yike and Broken Blade are going to do anything here. They get suppressed. I think the Skarner's OP'd, and I don't, like, why did G2 not play the Skarner? He's easy to play. Like, I picked him up in a day and could easily play him. I'll probably put out some VODs with him because I think he's the strongest. They say Nidalee's still the strongest, and Elise is strong too. Viego, the normal jungle. So T1 won this game, and let's see if they show the end game stats. Nope. So I'll see you at game number 2. There's game number 1.
I think we're gonna hit disaster. Just give me one more try.